So we spoke about the AI ethics, and in the first part, we spoke about 6 of them. I want to tell you about the other 6. We're going to start with people's relationships. So enhancing, not distracting from people's relationships. So the AI has to try to build, let's say, better communication channels and build better communication with your employees, with your friends. Well, let's say if it's an operational system within a company, so it has to make relationships stronger rather than making it super automated. I already use Grammarly, which sometimes you just email arrives, you can say to Grammarly, just click on it, say respond in a positive way or respond in a negative. Say that you have, read this through and just send a confirmation. It becomes a little bit like soulless. So it's like empty responses. Yes, it saves time, but does it improve the relationship? Not really. It's like pretty much saying, all right, I have time for you. Thank you for another useless email. And not to ignore, you just use Grammarly AI to create this email. It even analyzes. It's like, hey, this is a very friendly email and so on. And you can, of course, give it specific barrier or specific keywords or specific prism that you want it to work through. The other ethical card would be no misuse is possible. Use opposite to its intent purpose is not possible, or basically making it not harmful. So a misuse is not making it destructive. Do not go to hypothetically, to a website that has ChatGPT AI bot that is connected to the server system, and all you gotta do is say, hey, go internally and just hack something, right? Or, hey, can you just scrape something that is not really legal? Hey, find me all the information of all the CEOs and leads in the world that would benefit from my service. Yes, it sounds very good, but of course, ChatGPT, for example, it obviously has a barrier. And if you program something on your personal computer, maybe you can avoid a little bit of that, but the whole idea is not to misuse the power of AI and automation systems. So you have to have a little bit of ethics, especially when you're doing this on a business and corporate level. And yeah, it's better not to do that if you don't want to get in trouble. The third one is empowering underserved ones. So there's a positive impact on people who are left behind. So for example, if there is someone makes a typo all the time. So this is how I use Grammarly, right? So Grammarly is also a very nice example. I like it because I'm not a native English speaker. What it does, it enhances the experience, the speed, and the people who are not as proficient, or they do not know a word, how to spell it, or if you're coming from a culture, let's say, or a language that is very complicated, or English in general, there are some complicated words, so it allows to empower the user. ChatGPT empowers the user. All the GPTs that are released now are also empowering the users to make things faster and more fun, and let's say apply less stress to work, which is great. So that's what empowering. That's what AI should be used for. On the other side, not for misuse. It's beneficial, right? The common good is promoted. So let's say when the whole company is using the same ecosystem or using the same AI automation systems that basically allow, again, they help them work faster, they benefit everyone, not, they create people's relationships or make the relationship stronger and better communication rather than the opposite. So this is when it comes to people relationships card, and it's beneficial, right? You have to understand, is it beneficial to use this if I'm not going to talk to my colleagues anymore via email? It's just going to be all automated. So that's where you can kind of balance it out. The fifth one is going to be people safety. So people are physically and mentally safe. So it doesn't generate something that might damage you, or it's going to be, let's say, culturally insulting to you. So using the automations or generative AI tools that are not going to insult you to keep you kind of safe mentally and physically. It doesn't, delete all your data from your computer, or it's not going to send all the money to a fraudster, or so basically, again, keeping it very safe for all the users. And the last one in the part 2 is right incentives. So there are no incentives that might motivate good people to use an AI in a bad way or trigger the AI to behave poorly. This is what I mentioned, where you have, let's say, a poorly connected chatbot on a website that has access to the whole data warehouse, or has access that is not limited from the company's information. So the incentive, normally you would think the incentive of a user that goes to the website and uses this chatbot is to, FAQs, customer tickets, and all the simple things that basically the AI can answer. However, if you're gonna misuse it, and if you're not gonna consider people's safety, you're also gonna have people have, let's say, a fraudulent, let's put it this way, fraudulent incentive, and wants to actually screw something up, they will try to do it. It's your responsibility as a business to secure that, right? To make it safe, to make sure that no one can misuse your AI or your bots, be it internally or externally, and of course that you promote the right incentive to do it. So it's not only that, hey, it makes my life easier, but it also that it doesn't make other people's lives more complicated and improves the team's productivity rather than just yours. So you have to think about how to promote those right incentives internally, and externally you have to make sure that you have the security that blocks people that do not have the right incentives. So that is very important to understand.